While spearfishing off the coast of California, Gerry was surprised to find an old ship's anchor and ballast balls 30 feet down. For him, it was the discovery of a lifetime.
I spent about a week and a half going up the California coast. We went up to Monterey and then coming back down, and I come up over a reef, 10 foot tops, the max of it, and dropped down, and I saw this anchor shaft jutting out of the sand. And as I dropped down to about 30 foot at the bottom of the reef, I noticed up against the reef were some ballast. I knew right away they were ballast piles, because you don't find round rock like that naturally occurring in piles at the bottom of the ocean. So I surfaced immediately there and took a bearing on the coast and continued my spearfishing with the idea of coming back someday. Didn't say a word to my buddies, and in between wanting to go back there, I had the accident, so I wasn't able to go back for about 5 years. And I went back and started just finding all kinds of different pieces of metal and found some coins, and I've made 8 trips back there so far. I've actually made many trips back there, and if I didn't feel good about it, I didn't go in the water. I started from the ballast piles, working out onto the sand, looking for a rock structure, because I know anything heavy is going to go down onto the bedrock. Storms tend to stir things up. I had a scoop that I worked with. I figured out it's a Spanish ship, or ships, because I've found such a wide variety of dates that had gone across the Pacific and returning back. The Portuguese had what they called the Black Fleet, the Manila fleet that used to come down the coast of California. I think it's just the captain's hoard, or whatever you want to call it, his treasure box that he paid the sailors with, because there's copper maravedis, there's silver, there's a small amount of gold. Primarily copper maravedis and blancas, what are called blancas, and those were the lowest of the Spaniard denomination of coins. There's a few Russian coins in there, which they could have picked up going, along the coast of China. Above that, there's some coins from India. There's some British coins, which were common in use back then. There's some Dutch coins. The Dutch East India Company had a lot of coins in circulation at that time. But primarily, the majority of the coins I found are Spanish. I was just really jazzed finding history, knowing that this had been submerged for a long, long time. After I got home and started cleaning the coins and finding the dates, the period when those coins were from, then I really got excited, because these coins have been in the water for over 200 years. This is the earliest one. This is a Dutch ducat, or dalder they called them, 1589 Dutch dalder. This is a India phantom from the late 1600s, early 1700s. In the copper coins, there's quite a selection. There's 3 what are called kopecks. They're Russian coins from the mid-1700s, late 1780s. What I found interesting in researching these coins was that a kopeck, back at the time these were minted under Catherine the Great, would buy 40 eggs or 1 peasant. I've got some vellum coins in here that are silver and copper. The maravedis are the primary coins that I've got here. They were the lowest denomination of Spaniard coin. There's some that I've got that have been what are called counterstamped. When a king passed away, there was a change in a reign of kings. They would go back through their coins and stamp them with a date or the new king's emblem on them. They're called counterstamped. I've got some that have got 2 or 3 different counterstamps on them. Most of these come from the 1400s, 1500s. There's an English commemorative coin I found on the wreck commemorating Admiral Vernon taking Portobello with 6 ships. I researched that on the internet and found out that there were 7 or 8 different commemorative coins that were quite popular back in the 1700s, commemorating his feat of taking Portobello. An incidental find laying on the sand, and had been laying there for quite a while, obviously because of the barnacles and the incrustation, was a late 1600s Chinese porcelain plate. Another find on the ship was this English pewter spoon. It's got the British Rose and Crown stamp on it. So it was an English pewter sailor spoon that they ate with. This is a bronze timber spike from the ship. I've actually found quite a bit of iron out there that I've left alone, didn't mess with. I just wanted a couple pieces for my collection. This is an iron timber spike. These are copper planking or sheathing planking nails. They're all hand hammered copper. Another little unusual find I found out there on the ship was this gold cross, this crucifix. My only danger so far has been great white sharks. I've dove 8 times there and been escorted out of there 5 dives by great whites, and actually had one time. I thought I was safe. I surfaced in about 6 foot of water, feeling secure, and had one attack me and take a fin off and scar up my other fin. So I kept it as a souvenir. After the encounters I've had out there, and the amount of coins I have under my belt now, I don't see any sense of raping the wreck for anything else. I've got a few artifacts and a good amount of coins, and I think I'll take my son there to show him where it's at, and whatever he does with it in his adulthood later on, he'll do. You know, I'm not showing the wreck to anybody else, and I don't want somebody to come in there and just pillage it and rape the site. So I've primarily left it pretty much alone.